Hi, hello children. Welcome back to the 10th standard second language English class. I hope you all are fine and safe. Yes? Good. In today's session, let us go through the lesson There's a Girl by the Tracks, session 2. In the last class, children, do you remember we discussed about the motto of the lesson? Do you remember? Yes, what was the motto? Yes, to imbibe the feeling of compassion among readers. Now, let us read a story of compassion. Are you ready, children? Shall we start? Okay, here we go with the story, The Buddha and an Angry Father. One day, the Buddha was in an assembly. A gentleman walked furiously towards him. He thought Buddha was doing something wrong, and he thought that if his children were engaged in business, they could make more money and be better off. So the father of that family was very upset, and he said, I am going to teach this man a lesson. So he came and looked at Buddha with furiousness. As soon as he came near Buddha, all his other thoughts disappeared, but his anger was still there. He was shaking and he could not speak. No words would come out of his mouth. So he spat on Buddha's face. Buddha simply smiled. All the other disciples around were gripped with anger. They were all so angry, but they couldn't react because Buddha was there. So everybody was holding their lips and fists tight. And this man could not stay longer. He spat, and a few moments later he thought, if I stay longer, I will burst out. So he ran away. When Buddha did not react or say anything and just smiled, this man could not sleep the whole night. It was the first time in his life he met somebody who would just smile when he spat on his face. He underwent such a transformation. The next day he came and fell at Buddha's feet and said, please pardon me, I don't know what I did. Buddha said, I cannot excuse you. Now the disciples were shocked. Buddha was so compassionate, he always excused everybody. Now he said he cannot excuse him. Not possible. Buddha had to explain because everybody was in a state of shock. Buddha said, well, why? You didn't do anything, so how can I excuse you? What did you do? What wrong you have done? The man replied, yesterday I spat in your face. I am the same person. So Buddha replied, that person is not here now. So to me, right now, to this person who is here, you are wonderful. You have never done anything wrong. Did you listen to the story, children? Wasn't it good? Yes. Now what did you learn from this lesson? We come to know that if a person does something harm to us, we are not supposed to punish that person. Okay, we have to make him realize that what he has done is wrong. Okay, only then he can become a better person. That is what, according to Buddha, is compassion. Yes. Now let us move on to the content words and their meanings, because once you know the meanings of the content words, it will be very easy for you to understand the lesson. Now here I want you to have a notebook and a pen with you. As you come across the content words and their meanings, I want you to note it down in your book. Okay. Now the first content word is fluttered. The meaning of the word fluttered is opened slightly. Now look at this picture, children. What do you see? It's a picture of a rabbit. Now watch the rabbit carefully. Yes. What did the rabbit do? The rabbit's eyelids began to flutter. The next content word is blackout. The meaning of the word blackout is to become unconscious. Now look at this picture, children. Yes, it is a picture of Roma lying on the tracks. When she fell on the tracks, she got hurt on her head and she became unconscious. The next word is suture. The meaning of this word is a stitch that is used to sew a wound together. Now look at this picture, children. You can see a wound which is very deep and it needs some stitches. The next content word is wrap up. The meaning of that word is close the day's business. Now look at this picture, children. In this picture you can make out that this man is closing a shop for some reason. Okay. The next content word, partly sedated. The meaning of the word partly sedated is half awake due to drugs. Now look at this picture, children. Yes, you can see a man. He is sick and he has taken some high dose medicine. When you are sick and when you take some high dose medicine, you feel sedated. Means you will be awake but you will not know what is happening around you. You will not be in full consciousness. That only we call it as partly sedated. Is it clear? Yes. Now you have understood the meaning of the content words, and I am sure you all must have taken down the content words and their meaning. Now let us move on to the reading of the lesson. There is a Girl by the Tracks by Devan Kenal. Innumerable motorists drove by, some even slowing down to see the young man struggling to hold the blood-covered woman in his arms. Just when he had begun to lose hope, a tempo truck driver pulled over and its driver, a middle-aged man, stepped out. "Help me," Baleshwar pleaded, and the man helped Baleshwar lay Roma down in the back of his truck. Baleshwar was quickly telling the driver what had happened when a traffic policeman arrived. "Take the girl to Airoli," suggested the cop. "There is a hospital there." But Baleshwar disagreed. Airoli was at least 10 kilometers away. "There is a closer place I know of," said Baleshwar. But as the facility lacked personnel and equipment, the on-duty physician wasn't able to do more than give basic first aid. He advised that she be moved to a nearby hospital. Baleshwar and the driver had no choice but to move her back into the truck. When the vehicle lurched forward, Roma stirred and her eyes fluttered open. "What is your name?" asked Baleshwar. "Roma," she managed to grind out. "Whom can I call?" he asked quickly, fearing that she would black out once more. "My brother Dinesh," she said, slowly giving him Dinesh's cell phone number. Baleshwar memorized it and watched as Roma's eyes soon lost focus and rolled back into the darkness. "Chacha, can I borrow your mobile?" Baleshwar asked, and the driver passed him his phone. Dinesh Talreja was wrapping up his day at his marketing job at a retail outlet in Ulhasnagar when his phone rang. "Dinesh bhai," a young voice asked, "your sister Roma has fallen off a train and we are taking her to Divine Hospital in Gansoli." "I am on my way," said Dinesh, rushing towards his motorcycle. Roma arrived at Divine Multi-Specialist Hospital and Research Center minutes later. Dr. Anil Agrawal, the medical director there, seeing the extent of Roma's injuries, admitted her immediately to the ICU without any paperwork. When Baleshwar was hanging around in the hospital, he noticed that the truck driver had already left. "Oh, I couldn't thank him, Baleshwar thought. Roma was still unconscious, but she was out of danger. She needed sutures. Dr. Agarwal believed she could have bled to death had nobody helped her. When she opened her eyes, she saw her brother and her fiancé were by her side. She could barely speak. She nodded and fell asleep again. When Baleshwar came to meet her the next morning, Roma was still partly sedated. Baleshwar had even revisited the spot where Roma had fallen. Looking for her cell phone and handbag, a railway employee assured Baleshwar that some of Roma's belongings had been found. How are you feeling? Baleshwar asked Roma. I'm okay, Roma whispered. In a few days, Roma made a full recovery. I can't imagine what would have happened if Baleshwar hadn't been there, she says, amazed to learn of the manner in which she had been rescued. I think it's astonishing that a stranger would jump off a train and risk his life for me. I can never repay Baleshwar. I am new to Mumbai, but I have noticed that people here are afraid, says Baleshwar, who is still looking for a job. They fear getting trapped in the courts or with the police. So, why did he do it? She needed help. Baleshwar puts it simply. That day it was Roma. Tomorrow it could be you or me by the tracks, bleeding and alone. Wasn't he correct, children, in saying that? Because that day it was Roma who had met with an accident. But any day, tomorrow, it can be somebody else. It can be anybody. So at that time, when you get hurt, somebody should come to your help. For that sake, whenever you see somebody hurt on the road or injured, immediately you have to go and take care of those people. Is it clear, children? I hope you will do it. Okay. Did you understand the lesson, children? Now, let's recapitulate and see whether you have understood the lesson. This I will be doing by asking you few questions. I want you to find out the answers from the textbook and write it in your notebook. Did you get it? Now, the first question is, who volunteered to help Baleshwar? The answer is, a tempo truck driver volunteered to help Baleshwar. Now, let us move on to the second question. Take the girl to Airoli, suggested the cop. But Baleshwar disagreed. Why did he do so? Did you get the answer? Now, write it down in your notebook. The answer is, Baleshwar disagreed because Airoli was 10 kilometers away and he knew a hospital close by. Now, let's move on to the third question. Baleshwar had a good memory. Do you agree with this? Give example to support your view. Yes, now let us check. The answer is, yes, Baleshwar had a good memory. Roma had given him a brother's cell phone number and he memorized it quickly before she lost consciousness again. All the answers have you written correctly? So that shows that you have really understood the lesson. Very good, children. Now let's move on to letter writing. Children, letter writing is an art. And every educated person should know this art of writing letters. Now let us know about the different types of letter. There are two types of letter. One is formal and the other one is informal letter. And now, what is a formal letter? To whom do you write a formal letter? Yes, a formal letter will be written to an official, secretary, manager, headmaster or principal. Then, what is an informal letter? To whom do you write an informal letter? Yes, informal letter can be written to a person who is related through blood. That can be father, mother, brother, sister, or it can be relatives also like uncle, aunt, and many times you write letters to your friends. So that also can be called as an informal letter. Now let us learn how to write a formal letter. The formal letter is divided into 6 parts. The first one is the heading. You usually write it in the left hand side. Okay, left hand side you will write the heading. And what do you write in the heading means? It will be the writer's or sender's address. The person who is writing the letter, his address will be written over there. What we call it as from address. Below that you will be writing the receiver's address. Receiver's address means to whom you are writing the letter. Did you get it? Or we call it as the to address. The second part is the salutation or what we call it as greeting. Here children, in salutation or greeting, when you are writing a letter to officials or authorities, then you have to greet them writing sir or madam. If you write respected sir or respected madam also, it is okay. Then if you are writing a letter to a businessman or to a firm or to a company, then you have to greet them by writing dear sir. And sometimes if you know the person to whom you are writing, when you are writing a letter to the person whom you know very well, okay, then you can also write mentioning their name like dear Mr. Chopra or dear Mr. Srinivas. Like that, using the name also you can start with the salutation. Now let us move to the third part, that is subject. And in subject, what is the topic of the letter? In the letter, for what sake you are writing the letter, that topic in brief, in short, it must be written. The fourth part is the body of the letter. In the body of the letter, in the first, you have to write reason for writing. What is the main purpose? Why are you writing the letter? That reason must be given. Next, you must give the information. Okay, why you are writing that letter? For that information must be given over there. In the last, you can see polite request or approval. You have to end it up, the body of the letter in the last sentence, you have to write a polite request must be written. And when you are requesting, you have to use the word either kindly or you can also say please do the needful or kindly do the needful. Like that you can end it up. Okay, and the final ending of the body of the letter, in the down you have to write, either you can write it as thank you or you can also write thanking you. Now let's move on to the next part, that is subscription. This is also very important children. Subscription, or we also say it as the ending or the complimentary or the leave taking phrase of the letter. Here, when you have written the letter to an authority, to an officer, at that time, how do you write the subscription? Means you have to write yours faithfully, or you can also write it as yours truly. Got it? And here one point you have to remember is, when you are writing that yours, Y must be in capital, and after R, there must not be apostrophe, comma must not be put over there. Did you get it children? That's very important. Y must be in capital and apostrophe after R, it should not be put. And the second word, the first letter faithfully, F must be in small letter. Did you get it? And yours truly, T must be in small letter. And if you are writing the letter to a known person, so at that time, you have to write yours sincerely. That must be written in the subscription. And if you are writing the letter to the headmaster or to the school principal, at that time, you have to write yours obediently. So this is the way you have to write the subscription. Did you get it clear children? Yes. Now let's move on to the last part, that is signature. And in signature, first what you have to do, you have to put your sign, and then below it you have to write your full name. Now you have got a model letter writing which will help you to understand what was taught now very clearly. Now read this question children. Imagine you are Pramod, Pramila, Government High School, Mysore. write a letter to the headmaster of your school requesting him or her to issue you the transfer certificate. So, it is a formal letter. Here you have got, in the beginning you have written. So, who is writing the letter? Premila is writing the letter to the headmaster. So, in the beginning, in the heading part, you have got Premila, Government High School, Mysore. Okay, that we call it as from address. Now, as I am doing it, take it down in your notebook, children, and leave one line, then write date. Mention the date over there. And after mentioning the date, leave one line, and in the next line, write to whom you are writing the letter. You are writing the letter to the headmaster. So, because of that, you have to write the headmaster, Government High School, Mysore. Okay, that will become the to address. Now, it is the salutation. So, you are writing it to your headmaster. So, respected sir. That will become the salutation, and next is the subject. And what is the purpose? Why are you writing the letter to the headmaster? Requesting him to issue you your TC. The next is the body part of the letter. In the body part of the letter, before itself I said reason must be given. So, how will you write the reason? With regard to the above subject, I, Premila of Government High School, Mysore, request you to issue me TC. Did you get it, children? So, that is the reason. Now, in the next, why is she asking the TC? That information you have to give. That is for continuing my studies. Did you get it? And finally, in the last, in a polite way, she is asking the headmaster to give her the TC. How are you supposed to write over there? You have to write using the word kindly or please. So, it is given over there. Kindly do the needful. Did you get it, children? So, this is the way how you have to write the body of the letter. The body of the letter will end up with writing thanking you. Next will be the subscription. As it's a letter written by a student to the headmaster, the subscription column you will write yours obediently. Then leave one line and then come to the signature. There you have to sign, and then below that you have to write the full name. So, this is the way how you have to write a formal letter. Is it clear? Now, let's move on to phrases. Phrase is a group of words. What is phrase, children? Yes, it is a group of words. A phrase, usually it does not express a complete thought. When you read a phrase, the complete meaning you will not get at all. Is it clear? For example, look at this picture. In this picture, you can see some shells, big and small. So, you have got some words here, big and small shells. When you read this word, big and small shells, you will not get a complete meaning. You come to know that there are some shells which are big and small. Okay, that's all, but it doesn't give a complete sense. So, if you want to get a complete meaningful sentence, what you are supposed to do means you have to add some more words or phrases to make it a meaningful sentence. Like for example, here it is given, big and small shells were scattered here and there on the beach. So, for that big and small shells, some more words and phrases are added which helps us to know the sentence in a very meaningful way. Now, let us know about the different forms of phrases and let us learn one by one. Here, look at this picture, children. In the first picture, you can see two boys, Tom and Harry. They are both brothers. In the second picture, you can see two girls. They are very good friends. Did you get it? So, here, Tom and Harry and my best friend. In this group of words, Tom and Harry and friend, they are all noun. Okay, and when you use a noun and make a phrase, then it is called as a noun phrase. Is it clear? Yeah, okay. Now, let us move on to the next. Look at this picture, children. In this picture, what do you see? It's a beach, and on the beach, you can see many shells. And where are the shells? They are scattered everywhere here and there. And it can be seen very clearly. Okay, and in these words, where scattered can be seen, that word scattered and seen, they are all verbs. So when you use a verb and form a phrase, then you call it as verb phrase. Now let us move on to the next type of phrase. Look at this picture, children. What do you see? Yes, you see beautiful colorful shells. Yes, many colorful shells, and they are all pretty and delicate. Now in this group of words, colorful, pretty, delicate, what do you call them as? Yes, they are all called as adjectives. So when a phrase is formed using an adjective, then we call it as adjective phrase. The next one is, look at the first picture, children. Can you identify the monument? Yes, what is that? Yes, it is Taj Mahal, one of the wonders of the world. Isn't it amazingly beautiful? Yes. And in the second picture, you can see a boy watching carefully the chess board. In these words, amazingly and carefully, they are all adverbs. And when you form a phrase, they are called as adverb phrase. Now coming to the next one, you can see underwater picture. You can see the underwater picture, and in that picture, you can see many marine plant and animal life. Can you see it? And in the next picture, you can see it's a picture of a beach where you see many different kinds of shells. So here, underwater, the word under, and on the beach, the word on, they are all prepositions. And when you form a phrase using prepositions, then it is called as prepositional phrase. Is it clear, children? So this is about phrases. I hope you would have understood it very clearly. What is a phrase and which are the different type of phrases. Now let us move on to home assignment. So the first assignment is, the Dalai Lama says, love and compassion are the true religions to me. But to develop this, we do not need to believe in any religion. Does this relate to the lesson, There's a Girl by the Tracks? How? You all know who is Dalai Lama, children? Yes, he is the spiritual leader of Tibet. The next assignment is its reference. So now the first reference to context is, Chacha, can I borrow your mobile? So based on this sentence what is given, you have got three questions. Take it down, children. The first one is, who wanted the mobile? The second one is, why did he want the mobile? The third one is, what had happened to Roma? Okay, understand this sentence and then answer the questions. Now let us go to the third assignment. I can never repay Baleshwar. So read that sentence properly, then answer these questions. Who said these words? Who is Baleshwar? Why can't she repay? Did you get it? You have to find the answers for all these questions. Now you have got a fourth assignment based on the letter writing what I taught. Imagine your Rahul Rupa of Government High School, Hassan, write a letter to the editor, Times of India, focusing on the problems of bad roads in your locality. It's a formal letter, children. Now I come to the end of my session, and before I sign off, children, don't forget, go to page number 23. At the top, you have got the QR code. So don't forget to scan the QR code for extra information related to this lesson. I hope this class was very interesting and it was very useful to you. So until I meet you in the next class, it's bye from me, children. Thank you.
ಹೊಸ ಹಾದಿಯಲಿ ಜೊತೆಗೂಡಿ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆಯ